loud, or else we're going to be in the YouTube video. All right, so I am going to try to make another playoff predictions video. It's been a year. This time I'm going to try to get it before the wild card ends, unlike last year. Um, so hopefully the predictions are better. Last year they were so bad that I almost didn't even want to upload it. Also, I hope you really like this new design I had. I had somebody make this for me. I think it's really cool. So hope you like it. Anyway, so first, I stole this bracket online, but let's get into the nitty gritty here. So this is the seeding for the NFL playoffs right now. In the AFC, we have the Bills, Chiefs, and the Texans on top for the wild card weekend, and the Ravens and the Niners as the first seeds. And in the NFC, we have the Cowboys, Lions, and Buccaneers as the divisional winners, and Eagles, Rams, and Packers as the wild cards. And so the first one I have, I think I did. I actually don't remember. Okay. Okay. Oh, oof. I'm sorry. This thing is a little jank. It's a little slow. The slideshow is, but it's because I have so many pictures. So the first one I think I predicted was the Bills versus Steelers game, and as you might have saw, I picked the Bills. That's because the Steelers have a negative point differential, but they're 10-7, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, they're on their third string quarterback, who's not that bad, but I don't think he's ever won a playoff game. And the Steelers are just they barely stuck into the playoffs because the Jaguars choked against the Titans. I don't think they're good. Well, I don't even think they were good before they even made the playoffs. So the Bills are rolling right now. They are doing extremely well. I think there's a player that got injured, but I heard he's coming back next week from what I know. So I think the Bills, especially with the weather, I don't think the weather will really help them because Steelers playing cold weather. Very interesting weather that game as well. Really cold, really windy, really snowy. Actually, it's really the wind and snow. Uh, Crazy. All right, next game. I chose the Niners and I chose the Packers. I didn't mean to actually. I accidentally selected this one early. I went to do all the AFC first, but I jumped to the Packers versus Cowboys, and I chose the Packers. And the reason I did, and a lot of people are going to criticize me for this, is because the Cowboys don't really have a good history of winning playoff games since like the '90s. Like they won like two playoff games, and they're 0-5 against the Packers in Arlington Stadium in the last five meetings. And I mean, it's just a different Cowboys team, but we say that every year, and the Cowboys continue to show us that they can't win in playoff games. Jair Alexander might be injured, which will definitely hurt the Packers' chances, but they still whooped the Vikings. Had an incredible day on defense without him, so that just goes to show that they've improved so much as a team, and I think they are capable of being the Dallas Cowboys. All right, our next prediction is the Chiefs over the Dolphins. This one's a no-brainer. This is probably the second easiest one, in my opinion. The Dolphins have been falling apart. They had a chance to win the division. They were leading for half the game. Um, let's see. The, the Dolphins did not beat a team over 500 all season, and the Chiefs are also bad. Like they've stumbled a lot in recent weeks. Both of these teams are kind of stumbling into the playoffs. It's in Arrowhead, and I looked at the weather. It's like -10 Fahrenheit and windy. So if it's gonna have like a wind chill of near -30, which is insane. Um, I'm assuming Taylor Swift won't be in attendance this time, but regardless, I think the Chiefs will win. The Dolphins are not going to be used to that cold weather, and they also don't know how to beat a good team, so I do not think they're going to win. Patrick Mahomes has a lot of experience in these type of games as well, and so does Andy Reid. Um, yeah, and then my next game was the. Did I have? Never mind, I didn't. Anyway, let's move on. Next game I had was the I had the Browns over the Texans. This one I actually thought wasn't that easy to pick because I feel like the Texans are. I think they had a meeting before, like they played each other before. I don't remember who won, and I'm not basing it on that. But I will say that I think the Texans, their defense, they have the best defense in the NFL, and it really shows. When I watch them play, they have an incredible defense, and they have they have a what's it called? Veteran quarterback at QB. He's played a while. The veteran QBs typically do better in the playoffs. I don't know why. The young QBs usually underperform, and so they have veteran, and they have a good defense. Defense wins championships. CJ Stroud, he's just a kid, he's great, but I don't think he's good enough to carry the Texans over the Browns, who have been playing amazing this season. All right, next we have the Rams versus the Lions. This one is my upset of the week, I guess, unless you count the Cowboys as your upset of the week. But I have the Rams over the Lions in Detroit. But the reason is because um, the Rams have been hot lately, and this is also I didn't mention this, but this is Matthew Stafford's. He's playing against his former team in the playoffs for the first time, and I think it'll be a really fun game. Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit. I don't remember the name of the stadium. Uh, to play a playoff game, it's is just a wild experience. It's going to be quite an experience for the fans. But I think the Lions, with their playoff woes, I don't think they will win. I hope I'm confident they can, but history says that the Lions aren't very good in playoffs. So because of history, I will choose the Rams, and because of the Rams' hot streak, I think they keep up their streak and move on. So then next is the Eagles and Buccaneers, and I chose Eagles. I chose the Eagles because uh, like obviously they're stumbling into the playoffs as well, 1-5 in recent games. But the Buccaneers also kind of stumbled into the playoffs. They had to beat the 2-14 Panthers to make it to the playoffs, and they barely did. Uh, that is a little bit of a critique though for the Packers, is they barely beat the Panthers as well. They let the Panthers score 30 points, and then the Panthers scored 0 the next 2 weeks. So that is a huge critique for the Packers, but their defense has certainly stepped up the last 2 games against the Bears and the Vikings. So I am interested to see how they are against the Cowboys, but that's regardless. Eagles and Buccaneers did play earlier in the season. The Eagles did win. Uh, the Buccaneers are just, I don't think they're very good. This will be kind of a boring game, to be honest, but I I see the Eagles winning. But honestly, whoever wins this game will lose the divisional round. That's not really a given. So whoever, also for some reason, I had Eagles versus Rams. No, that is correct actually in this scenario. Wow, that's really good for those two teams. That's actually kind of wild. All right, so then I think I do the AFC. So then Ravens versus Browns. I have the Ravens over the Browns for the NFC for the divisional round into the NFC Championship. Joe Flacco now playing against his former team in the playoffs, and this will be another interesting game. Joe Flacco going back to Baltimore uh, for the first time in a while at the playoffs, and that'll be quite the experience as well. But he does have the eliteness, the history, the veteran. He's not really that elite, but the history. And he's also going to be playing against John Harbaugh as well. The same coach is still there. I think that the Ravens, though, they've shown to be the best team in the NFL. The only reason they even lost to the Steelers is because they had their backups in. They are definitely the better team, and I personally think they'll even win the Super Bowl. But the way they're playing, they will at least. Who knows if that changes or not? But the Browns, such a good defense, and it's a rivalry game. I think the Browns can win this, definitely. But history tells me that the Ravens typically beat the Browns in rivalry games. In overall, the Ravens will typically win that matchup about 7 times out of 10. All right, and then next we have the Chiefs versus the Bills, which I don't know if I mentioned this at all, but this game would actually be in Buffalo and not in Arrowhead like before. And I think the Bills will win this time. I think the Bills will win because because they're shown to be a lot better this season. Especially in that last five game stretch where they went 5-0. They were 6-6 at one point, losing to the Broncos. They've improved a lot. The Chiefs have been not improving; they've been stumbling. I would be shocked if the Chiefs actually beat the Bills this year, especially because the Bills already beat the Chiefs earlier on in the season. So I think that the Bills win this one. And then next we have the let's see, the Niners versus the Packers. Sorry, I guess we don't have that next. Oh wait, we do. For some reason the 49ers are okay. Yeah, it's the Niners versus the Packers, and it is the Niners that win. I think I don't know if I showed that already, but I do have the Niners winning. And the reason I do is because Niners always beat the Packers in the playoffs. The past like 4 meetings, they've won. The Niners have shown to be like one of the best teams in the NFL. They did stumble a bit here and there, but outside of that 3 game losing streak, they have been stellar. They have lost 1 game outside of that streak, and it was against the Ravens, the best team in the NFL. So because of that, I think they will pretty easily beat the Packers. I don't think their defense will have an answer for Christian McCaffrey. He will run all over the Packers, just like Raheem Mostert did, or not Mostert. Who was that guy? I think it was Mostert. Just like he ran all over the Packers before in the 2019 or 2020 playoffs. That 1 game, the Niners had like 200 rushing yards on the ground. It was insane, and yeah, I think the Niners will run all over them and claim that victory. Although, great for Jordan Love to make it to the divisional in his first season. It's especially for such a young team to make it to the divisional, beat the number 2 seed. I think that's still a win for the Packers. All right, then the next game we have is the Eagles and Rams. And if you saw, I picked the Rams because the Eagles, like I said, are stumbling into the playoffs. The fact that they can make it to the divisional is only because they had to face a weak opponent in the Buccaneers, who barely made the playoffs themselves. Um, I think I think the Rams beat the Eagles pretty easily. Like I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think they win by probably double digits, probably like 10 or something like that. I don't. That's just Eagles are just they're no good, and it's crazy to think that the Eagles would have a home playoff game in this scenario. A home playoff game. That is wild. That just to think of that because of how badly the season's gone for the Eagles. After starting 10-1 to end the season 11-6, losing to the Cardinals on your last game of the season, it's just embarrassing. It is really embarrassing. Anyway, the Rams running high, flying high, make it, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, make it to the NFC Championship, and it's actually the same NFC Championship as when the Rams made the Super Bowl the last time. Now you might be thinking, do you think the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl? No, this is not the same Super Bowl Rams that we saw in 2021. This is not that team. Much worse, they have much less weapons. But first, we have to look at the Ravens versus Bills game. I predict the Ravens. I think this will be a very close game. I could pick either one. I think either team could win this one, but the Ravens have shown they've been performing way better. They've shown that they're the better team. Uh, I think they're the best team in the NFL. I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't know that the Bills. I don't really know what they'll do. Just not, or what they'll do to fight the Ravens. I think they will have trouble with the run game probably. I don't know too much about the Bills defense, but when I watch them, they're a good team right now. They're flying high, but I think Josh Allen will probably make some mistakes somewhere because the Ravens have a really good defense as well. Josh Allen hasn't had the greatest season through the air. At least he's had a great season with his legs, but not really on the air. In the air, and I think their magical season comes to an end in the championship game. But great season for the Bills nonetheless. And then, as I mentioned earlier about the Rams Niners. That one goes to the Niners. I don't think the Rams will win again in the championship like they did before. I think I have the Niners because they're better than before, and assuming no injuries, that's important. All these predictions are assuming no severe injuries occur from the current rosters, right? That is obviously important. But it's interesting because Niners versus Rams is two California teams facing off, and I picked Niners just because usually they beat the Rams. Typically, they have a good time, pretty good time beating them, and this Rams team is not the same Rams as in the Super Bowl Rams. But to think that they're one win away and playing a rival, I do think it's possible. Like, this is crazy, but I do think Rams in the Super Bowl is possible because their path to victory is a lot easier than some might think. If you look at what I have here, their path to victory looks feasible. The path to the Super Bowl seems reasonable for the Rams, and seeing them in the Super Bowl would be kind of wild. All right, so anyway, about the Super Bowl, obviously we see it's Ravens versus Niners, which is what people have been saying with all the memes, not the memes, but the predictions with this little. Well, they have an alternate logo now. People think it's like the Dolphins and Chiefs or something, the Dolphins and Niners or Eagles. I don't know, but it used to be red and purple, and unless I put the wrong logo there, I don't know. I just stole one online. It might mean the wrong logo. I think this last Super Bowl logo. I think it's actually the last year's Super Bowl, and I just didn't update it, which is kind of silly of me, but whatever. Anyway, there was things on the internet saying, "Oh, the logo is gonna be purple and red, so it's gonna be the Ravens versus the Niners in the Super Bowl." That's not why I'm saying it is. I'm just saying it because, generically, people will say, "Oh, the number one seed usually are favored to be in the Super Bowl." And, well, that just so happens to be the case here as well. I have the number one seeds in the Super Bowl. And remember, these teams played in the regular season already. And who won? That's right, the Ravens did. That's why I have the Ravens winning. They did it before. They can do it again. The defense shut out Brock Purdy. Can they do that again? We'll see. But that's their key to victory: shutting down Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. Very important as well. But if the Ravens defense can do what they did in the regular season, I think they'll have a good time winning. And what's his name? John Harbaugh, seeing a familiar foe in the Super Bowl, a team he faced off 11 years ago in the Super Bowl, returning uh, to the Super Bowl. And I think they win again. I think they win 2 times in a row, which is not something I like to say because I would really like to see the Niners win this Super Bowl. But considering how they played against the Ravens before and how the Ravens are playing now, I don't see it happening because Lamar is just crazy right now. He's absolutely crazy. And so, because of that, I think that the Ravens will win the Super Bowl 59. I think it's 59 now. 58. Sorry, 58. This is 57 and it was last year. So, Super Bowl 58. The Ravens will be Super Bowl 58 champions. And that's my prediction right here. I'm going to take a screenshot of it. This is my prediction for the playoffs. Let me know what you think. And we'll soon see whether my predictions this year were any good. Again, thanks for watching. If this video is bad, this will be possibly my last NFL predictions video. So you better hope that it turns out well. Until next time, peace.